There's a train here. It's July 8th, Saturday, 2023. I'm at the Lebo first annual festival and general good time. They had a bunch of games here. We had a fire truck. I don't know. I hope there wasn't a fire, that's why I had to leave. They got bouncies there, all kinds of bouncies for the kids. They told me I couldn't go on there. So they got food trucks. They got a canteen over here. And all kinds of vendors were here selling honey. So this is quite a production. I'm very proud of the organizers and volunteers who put this on. Very thankful that they are helping to invigorate our community and make this a really great place to live. It's a really great place to live anyway, but you know, this community spirit is just heartwarming. It's really great. So that's what we're doing. So hope you're having a good day too. It looks like the exodus from the hive has slowed. So I need to try to find out where these bees are going to land. My first swarm of the season, July 8th. There's bees everywhere. Man, there's bees everywhere. I don't know if you can see them in the sky, but it's just incredible. And I just came to the bee yard, so I haven't put on my PPE yet, which would amount to a veil. So you can kind of see how disinterested these bees are in me and my presence. They're on a mission. Came from this one here. I just came to the bee yard and I heard that sound. Once you hear that sound, you won't forget it. Quite distinctive. Now there's one after me. I'll try and figure out where they're going. It's Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. I can't believe it's July 11th. This season is just going so fast. They always do. And we're on the downhill side from solstice, and that doesn't make me happy, but you know, I'll enjoy it for what it is. So today, you can see I've been working already, kind of sweaty. It's not that warm, but it's really sunny, and I've been grafting, so I've been sitting in my truck where it's really hot. So I grafted into my builder again. I took 25 cells, I think, something like that, into my incubator today, and so I grafted another 29 actually, because I left a space to show where the difference was. I had a friend come by. He wanted to learn more about grafting and raising queens, and so we spent some time together, and I explained everything I knew, and then we sat in the truck and we did a little bit of a graft, and he grafted 5 cells, or 5 cups, and he actually got along really well. He said, hey, this is not that hard. So that really made me happy. A lot of people, they give up on the grafting part. And, you know, it's just the kind of thing, it's like playing a piano. You've got to practice. You know, if I sat down at the piano and tried to play some nice piece of music, I'd get frustrated and say, oh, I can't do that. Well, I got to practice. And this was me too, because I don't really need a lot more cells. I maybe, you know, I can use more cells, I suppose, or more queens. I'm running out of mating nuke space, but really it's practice for me. I want to graft as much as possible so that I can hone the craft and fine-tune my skills. And the process is certainly something to practice. And that's what I left him with. I said, you know, don't concentrate so much on success right now. Concentrate on process. You know, get your wet towels, your hot wet towels, get your equipment, your magnification, your lighting, and your hot grafting area wherever you're going to do it, your breeder queens, your larvae, your cups, your bars, your grafting frame, your builder. You know, get that all in order, and just do that process as much as you can, because I find that it's still sometimes a hang up for me, that I get things in the wrong order. I go get my breeder frame and I haul it over in here into the truck, and I realize I haven't loaded my grafting bars with cells yet, cell cups. So then I have to load the cell cups. So just little things, you know, having your wet towels ready, having your hot water ready, that kind of stuff. So anyway, it went fairly well today. He had a good time. I enjoyed, you know, helping him, and always nice to see my friends. So anyway, now I have to do some work, and this is what I'm going to be doing. On Saturday, the 8th, we did a market. It was just in the little village where I live here, only 3 miles away, which was great because I had some pressing business here in the apiary. I was a little bit late getting my next boxes on, and I worked Friday as long as I could, but I wasn't going to get nearly done. So I asked my wife if she wouldn't mind tending the market for a few hours while I came home and finished supering these hives. And I'm glad we did it that way, because it worked out for her. She did very well minding the store while I was away. And when I got back, so what we did was we went and set up in the morning, and then I came back, midday to do my work. And it took me 2 or 3 hours to finish this. But I walked in here, and it was this hive here, this one here, with Queen Excluder leading against it. This really tall one. It was swarming. I walked out here, I rounded the corner, and I thought, oh, I know that sound. And sure enough, I stood there and watched the watch the swarm leave that box. I watched them for the longest time, and it seemed to be a false swarm. I don't know exactly what people call that. I think people call it practice swarm or something. I don't particularly think they need practice doing that, but they seem to just come right back to the box after, it was actually 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes. And so they seemed to just come right back into the box, which was great. So I sat down at that box and I took it right down to the bottom. I searched for all swarm cells. I got rid of any queen cell that they'd started in there. I don't recall there being tons, but there were some. And I didn't split the colony, which, perhaps I should have. But I added oodles and oodles of space to them. And not only that, but I put the lid, I propped it up on a stick so there's ventilation up out of that lid, just to give them the feeling of tons and tons of space in there. Hopefully they'll settle in. I really hope they settle in. So that was the excitement on Friday. I finished supering all of the production colonies here, and my angst was that I haven't addressed my nukes lately. And so I just actually checked some of those, and sure enough, I got to get on the supers on those nukes. So that's the big job for today. There's one other little job way over in the corner here, and that's I want to check on a queen that I had put in under a push-in cage on Friday. I was checking this nice strong colony. They were making lots of honey and everything. No queen. So I went and got one of my queens off to the side there from my queen rearing program, and I fashioned myself a push-in cage, much like what Gus Mitchell has shown online, and I put her in under that push-in cage and left her to it. And so I'll check today. That's Saturday, Sunday, Monday too. That's 4 days under that cage. So hopefully she's doing okay. And sometimes they tunnel under the cage and release her that way, but if they've done, I hope they've treated her nicely, because she's their only hope. So that's what I'm going to start with today. We'll see how that queen is doing, and then we'll go from there. This is the colony that I put the push-in cage in with my new 2023 queen. So this is said push-in cage. So I went in the bottom and I found the push-in cage. Queen was still in it. The bees seemed to be okay with her presence, and so I observed them for a while, and I decided to pull the push-in cage off. It's been 4 days, and I don't recall anybody telling me how long you should leave it, but it's been 4 days. Figure a candy release, 4 days is enough, so maybe this would be enough. So I gently pulled it off. She wandered around. Everybody seemed to be okay with her presence, and I very carefully put it back together again. So that's the story on that, and I don't know if the camera recorded that or not, but just in case. Let's look at this one while we're over here. This is the second box of what was my cell finisher. It got a virgin in it, so I just set it aside, hoping she would mate and make something of herself instead of just being a troublemaker. And I don't know the timing, whether it's time for her to lay or not. Seems to me I looked in here not long ago and there was hardly any bees. So they got something going for them, I guess. Yeah, I can hear them. They don't have a laying queen. I don't know how long I need to leave them. I'll have to try and figure that out. Yeah. But I'm not gonna fool with it today. I got other things to do. Yeah, I can just hear them roar. It is not the sound of a queen right colony. Now my next job, I believe, is to super these. Son of a gun, look at that. That is right full of honey. Super these 6s. So I need a bunch of metal queen excluders for that. Okay, so I just want to pull some bait frames from these 3. And I should have black foundation frames to put back in there. Black frames with black foundation. What I didn't see was this plastic one. I'm going to pull that plastic one out so that it ends up in the honey house, and then it'll end up in somebody else's bee yard shortly thereafter. So lots of brood and lots of drones on the bottom of that. Put this one back in here. Boy, these little nukes are making drones. That's kind of crazy. So black foundation it is. They should draw that pretty fast. They don't care to have foundation in the brood nest. Okay. Oh, it's the honey. I wish I could eat that stuff. It looks delicious. Look at these beautiful brood frames. They're gorgeous. I want to shake that, but shaking with just one space like that. Okay, so got one queen excluder here. Oh yeah, see that's the problem. Now the bees are on top of this honey, and I want to push that queen excluder down there. Getting the bees off the honey is difficult. Some of them just, no way I'm giving up my, it's like getting bacon away from me, you know, it's just. It's pretty hard to do. This box. This frame comes out. 2 frames out. These are comb honey frames in this box. Okay. Fingers are all sticky. Now we do the last one. Not as strong. They should be able to hold their own though. So I've got another plastic here I'll pull out. And I'll pull this frame out so I have some room. Yeah, it's all larvae in there. That's nice. I could pull this one out too, kind of an old frame, but I think I'll be okay. Okay. It's all yours, girls. Oh, man. Squashed one. She stung me right in the finger. Ouch. Alright, a little bit of a conundrum here, but oh, man. Because I don't have 3 here. What I'm going to do is just put 2 plastic queen excluders. They're going to stick out. And I'll put 6 frame boxes on top. So I can see right away that there's a plastic frame I want to remove. See if I can possibly see the queen. A little bit of a risk doing that, but okay, so there's some cells here that look like they're fairly well developed. They are. So I might be late on this. Uh-oh. Oh, there's a healthy cell right here. Not a... Oh boy. I'm late on these two. See, that's a big, beautiful... Might be a supersedure or a swarm cell.
So I always say, well, these new queens don't swarm. Well, guess what? They sure as heck do. There's another one here. Oh boy. Treat that kindly for now. Some I find tricky. Reading the hives for progress and keeping ahead of them. And, you know, the honey flow comes on so strong and so fast that just 3 or 4 or 5 days sometimes it seems that things just flip around on you. Look at this slab of brood in here. Man. Just incredible. This is a Kona queen, and that's a Carpathian queen. It's not that significant. Okay, wow. This is just incredible. So, okay. Now, a little bit of context here. These were my one frame splits in late May. I think that was about the 20th. I don't know, 20th of May. And I know there was some people saying, oh, what in the world are those going to do for you? Well, guess what? They're going to swarm on me. They even surprised me. You'd think I'd have a handle on this now after keeping bees for so long. Just still sneaks up on me. So I'm just sort of checking for swarm cells and getting a real good idea of what's going on. See, I don't think this one is heading off into swarm land. That Carpathian looks like it is. This actually, these two might not have been the late May. These might have been the early May. Since it's a Kona, I didn't get Konas late May. I got my Konas about the first week in May. She's really laying hard. Look at that slab. That's so beautiful. That's something that, you know, I work so many months of the year. Even that, I don't think there's anything in that cell. Yeah, there's an egg or two in these. An egg in one or two of them, I should say. Okay. Yeah, I work so many months, and I just don't get to see stuff like that very, you know, many times throughout the year. Those beautiful slabs of brood. So beautiful. Tomorrow's bees. Okay, here's a pretty hefty looking cell. Didn't really look like there was a lot in it. I'm going to shake the bees off of this. And there's lots of them too. She's laid that right up. Okay. So what I'm going to do, my Problem is I don't have much foundation, black foundation frames. Let's see, I'll pull this up. Now that one I think came out of there. I think I'll put this one back. Okay, now I got a mess here. I got busy last week and I got behind in my work. That's the excuse, isn't it? Now I should do the other one. I can do the other one from the other side. I need to get these bees under control. Don't like using my spare boxes for this because I need them for future nukes. But okay. You don't know how to make comb honey? I usually don't recycle too much wax, but just take it deep, put a piece of wood in the middle, and they'll make two nice slabs of comb. I feel like I need to go through the other one since I found those cells. It's not what I want to see. But if I can thwart those plans, I can use those cells to make more colonies. Job one is to save this colony from itself and my lack of proper management. This is honey and sealed brood. Oh my goodness. And I think there's no cells on that one, so I'm going to shake it off. If there is, I might have shaken the cells now. Okay, there's no cells there. beginning of a cell there. Lots of pollen. There's a ripe cell here. Oh dear. Lots of them. There's one that's even sideways there. But there's one there, there's one there. There's two on the face. See, the ones on the face, I always have to question, is it a swarm cell, or is it a supersedure cell, or even an emergency cell? So I should find some eggs here. Yeah, I've got young larvae eggs. I see the queen right here. She's right there. I don't see any cells on that side, so I'll leave her alone. See if I can get a frame. Get her a drawn frame, and that'll give her something to work at and keep them from. They were kind of harassing her, so probably trying to get her ready to fly. Something else on the bottom there. So I might lose this one yet, who knows? Don't want to. That's unfortunate that I left too long. Come on. Ouch. Okay, what do I do with those cells? Do I try to capitalize on that? Do I just kill them? Put them back in here? I don't know. It's always hard for me. Gonna try and make something of them. Oh, I didn't pull anything up, did I? I might be too late with my comb honey frames, but you know, if I am, then I won't get comb honey. I'll just get, you know, honey I can crush and then drain and bottle. Well, that's it for supering the nukes for now. I'm pretty pleased overall with what's going on. However, I'm not pleased that I'm actually late. There were some of them making some swarm cells. And I got a big mess to clean up now. There's equipment everywhere. But so you can see here, so two of these were into a second 6 frame. And so when I
transferred those. I just left 9 frames in each one of these boxes, so that's 18 frames, and so that's only 6 more frames than what were already filled. So I went ahead and put empty boxes on top of those yet, because I think we've got more flow to come. You know, most of them are 1 deep, but some of them are 2 deeps high. I've got one of them there. I put in a 10 frame box because it was just 1 nuke on a pallet, so I thought I'll just put a 10 frame box and put a deep super on that. It was doing really well. And there's another one there that's alone on the pallet, so I'm going to transfer that one too. I just didn't think of that when I was there. So it's a 6 frame with a 6 frame second on it, and so I'll transfer that on a 10 frame box. And I am just beat. I'm just beat. So, you know what's a really nice sight? This over here. This is a sight. This is a sight. There are 42. There are 42 mating nukes here, and most of them have queens in them. There's only probably about 7 or 8 that don't have, and so I need to make more mating nukes because I've got 25 cells in the incubator right now, and I just grafted 30 more cells. So I'm trying to accomplish a couple different things, and I'm stretching the bounds of my equipment here. I'm running out of these boxes. I may just have to use Pro Nukes for mating. I'm going to be consolidating some of the zombies here soon. Some of them just aren't getting it, so I'll free up that equipment to use as mating nukes. And I've also got this equipment here. This is my new 6 frame equipment standing here, and you can see I borrowed a couple boxes, but I'm hoping that some of these mating nukes will grow up enough to fill up those 6 frame boxes for winter. They're not really going to do anything more than that, but if they fill up those boxes for winter, that's the goal. And I've actually got so many of them going that I'm going to end up filling some polys yet too. So I'm definitely going to have to be building more 3-way pallets next winter and buying more 6 frame boxes. So that's the goings on in the apiary today, and I'm beat. It's got to be 5-6 o'clock. The sun is starting to shine in my eyes, and I'm very happy with what I've accomplished. It was a lot of work. A lot of work. I checked the outyard today. They're fine yet. They haven't filled those second boxes I put on. They haven't drawn out all that foundation yet. So they're okay so far. And what's today? Tuesday. Probably need to check those by the weekend again just to make sure. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Take care and have fun. Have fun with your bees. It's Thursday, July 13th, 2023. Just a quick update out here. You can see I'm in what I call my good clothes. I'm going to do some deliveries today, visit some customer stores, and I just dropped out the apiary, and I thought I'd just do a little catch-up update. You can see something new over here. But first of all, in the builder, I did a graft on Tuesday, and I actually had a friend come over. He was interested to kind of get some finer details of the grafting process and the queen rearing process. So we spent a couple hours here, and I hope he gained the knowledge that he needs. I'm not really very qualified because I'm not really very good at it yet, but you can always disseminate the information that you have attained, even though you're not a master. So we didn't even do it right. We didn't do it as by the book because we didn't have hot water and whatnot for the towels. So we did the best we could. We used the hot cab of the truck for grafting and whatnot, and he grafted 5 cells in here, and he said he was getting along pretty good with it. He could see the see the larvae and pick them up and whatnot. And I just checked the grafts, and 2 of his 5 grafts have been accepted. And considering we didn't even really do it properly, and the fact that his very first time, that's really good. That's really good. So I'm gonna raise these up, and then I'm gonna tell him he needs to come and get his 2 queens. So because those 2 are his. I grafted the rest of that bar, so I grafted 9, I think, more on that bar, and then a 15 more. I just counted them, but my memory is crap, so I don't remember. But there was a decent take on there. There's probably, out of that would be about 24. There's probably nearly another 20 cells there. I don't know what I'm going to do with them because all my mating nukes are full. Okay, so the other development is I've been meaning for years to build one of these for myself, and this one came up on the forums and I just jumped on it. It was a good price, and it's a wax melter. Now this one is built, you can see it's quite an angle, quite a rake to it, so whatever I put in it is just kind of slides down here. He's just got perforated metal, and the wax then runs through to the bin on the bottom. He's built it actually so that it will hold 2 deep frames. If you want to do that, you can put 2 deep frames in here and melt those off. I don't use wax foundation, and you can overheat plastic pretty easy, so I don't intend to do that. So anyway, solar wax melter. The only reason I want to have this here is for scrapings in the apiary. I never deal with the scrapings. I don't usually deal with the scrapings. And I thought, if I have a wax melter, maybe I'll collect them, throw them in the melter, and they can just sit here in perpetuity and melt during the summer. There's not that long of a season that it would actually melt. But yesterday, it was really sunny yesterday, and I think it was only 26, I think, and it started to melt, so pretty happy with that. So that's the other development here, and I'll turn this around and give you a little tour. Okay, so the place is getting to be a mess again. The skid is sitting out here, should be put away, but I've got mating nukes. I had to make another 15 mating nukes yesterday, and they're in the building doing that reset thing. Sometimes I keep finding cells, so I'll put them in the mating nuke, so that uses up a box, but I mean it could yield a colony. And these that have no markings are queenless. I think they need to be checked for rogue cells still. We checked them yesterday, but I think they should be. I'll kind of give them an eyeball again when I bring the queens out. Queens should be coming out on the weekend, maybe Friday and Saturday. And here's some more cells that I found. So I marked check queen July 26th. And when I find cells, I always have to look at that cell and kind of guess how old it is so that I can get the timing on that. I'll usually just go and try and guess when it'll emerge, add 10 days, and then write that date. Now here, these mating nukes have my round 6 grafted queens in them, so these are all full. These are all full, maturing and hopefully mating. And I have round 3 queens in here, and they're almost ready to be checked. I think Tuesday is my day for these. I had a couple others. See, I have this check eggs July 17th, so this is another one I just put cells in. I only got a couple of round 2 queens, 3 of them actually, so there's round 2 here and here and here. They should be due to be checked, I think. I'll have to check my calendar. So yesterday I was making nukes again, mating nukes, and pilfering the zombies. And some of these are still laying really hard. Some of them aren't doing great. So you can see the stand is starting to thin out a bit. I'm trying to recover some of these boxes to put my mating nukes in. because I'm out. I've built up all my boxes now. So I've transferred a couple into Pro Nukes and actually poly hives. These were really quite strong, so I put them in 6-frame boxes. So this is kind of the aftermath of making nukes. So let's go and look at the main apiary here. All right, so you recognize these. These are the 6-framers, the 3-ways. And I worked, was this Thursday? I think it was Tuesday, because I had to go on deliveries on Monday. And I worked all day Tuesday, and I supered this whole row. So you can see there's 2 10-frame deeps above 3 6-frame nukes. There's a queen excluder in there, of course. And so these grew up. This one was kind of lost its pallet mates, so I think I'm going to just transfer that into a 10-frame, and then it can just sit by itself on the 10-frame pallet, 2-way pallet. And then once fall comes, I can just transfer them onto a pallet with another single on it. So more superage going on here. These were super strong. So what happened here, I guess, is, if I remember, these 3 6s had 3 6s on top, right full. So when I did the shakedown and put the queen excluders, these boxes were nearly full already. So I added a couple of deeps on there. So, this is an example. This is best case scenario example. I had people asking me in the comments, what do you really expect of these nukes you're making? Because they're super weak when I made them, if you remember. And I just said, well, I expect them to make me some honey and then winter. And guess what they're doing? Making honey. So this is another example of a nuke that lost its pallet mates, and it was only 1 nuke. So I put that in a 10-frame, but you can see, they're doing good. They were double story. So I put the honey up here, and I put a medium on there. I don't have very many mediums, but they creep in. So another one there. These weren't balanced, and so I just have to keep an eye on them. They don't seem to be really doing great. So just more deeps, and the one at the end is performing quite well. And so they've got 4 deeps on those 3 nukes. So I'm very happy about that. So on to the rest of the apiary. I supered these up last Friday, Saturday, and they were strong. I was late. This honey flow came on really fast and hard. This is the one that swarmed. I showed you the video of that. So I added lots of space, a couple of empty mediums. I gave them ventilation. At the top here, I just put my entrance reducer to open that up. So you can see that even the others are really getting tall. Some not as much, but still need space. A lot of these, like this one, I marked these. So Friday, Saturday, when I was supering, first thing I did was I put a second on some of the stronger singles. So these don't have a queen excluder yet. And then I just put that arbitrary mark on there just so I wouldn't go back and try to super that again. And then he's doing pretty good. These are marked RQ. So what's going to happen with these is they're still laying, they're just not performing. So what's going to happen is these are going to get broke up, and I'll likely make at least 2 queenless mating nukes out of each one, and then put my grafted queens in there, and hopefully they'll grow up into something that'll winter. So just a lot more good strong colony. You see three deeps. Of course this one's not full. I just added that one, well, almost a week ago now. And but 3 is my quota, so if they fill that, then we're good. Another one is just not getting it, so we'll break that one up soon. A couple more. And again, these that have two, usually they don't have queen excluder yet. I know that one doesn't because it has the mark. And this one, oh, this is a sad story. I was getting so tired that day. You see this QL, that's queenless. I was working away there, and nice big yellow queen, 2022 queen, and I caught her in my little catcher and I marked her, and when I was done doing my work I released her, but she got caught in the door and I killed her. So I feel really bad about that. So I need to introduce a mated queen there when I have one. So there's more supers. So things are certainly looking better than 2 months ago, you'd expect. Okay, so here's a couple of note. And again, I just supered these a week ago, so certainly not full. But these are the two that I shook all the bees into fresh equipment and fresh comb. So I can't quote you the date that I did that, but I made a video on it. So they've gone somewhere. They've done okay, but they're certainly, they were put back. Another one that's not quite getting it there. So this yard is kind of all over the place, and that's what this yard always is. There's a nice one. These nukes, I bought these nukes from this guy here, Winnipeg, and most of these are doing really great. There's actually a couple over there with 2 deeps on them. So these are single deeps. That's a queen excluder with a deep, and that one just got a second, so it doesn't have a queen excluder yet. I have to make sure I get those in by, before the end of the first week in August, so that brood can emerge and get out of my honey supers. And here's a story. So this one. So I showed you the push-in cage that I used on this one. So they're doing pretty good. These two, it was really funny. I tore into those and I realized, oh, they're so strong, and they're kind of just on the verge of starting to make swarm preparations. So I made about 4 or 5 mating nukes out of some of the bees and brood, and I was preparing to pull brood out and move it above the queen excluder that I was about to install. And you wouldn't believe how strong these are. I'll show you a picture I took of this one once I had it torn down. Unbelievably strong. And in the whole process of pulling the frames and preparing to pull that brood up, I found the queen. And in both of them, I found the queen. And I wasn't looking for her, I just found her. So I was able to just pillage those at will and make my mating nukes. So those are nice and strong, and the apiary is looking good. Numbers, I don't know, I haven't really counted. There's 50-ish here, plus the nukes. There's not quite 30, I guess. There's mating nukes. There's 40 some of those. So you never get 100% in anything. Mating success in July is very good. So out of 40 nukes, I'll likely get 35 mated. 30 of those might be good, and then that's the 6 frame equipment that those are going to go into at that point. So they've got a lot of growing up to do between now and then, and honey flow is definitely waning. So that's a look at the apiary today. Okay, so that's the tour, and I'll likely leave you with that, unless anything else exciting happens today. And we'll catch you up again tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. So lots more work to do, always. Take care and have fun.
Whoa!
I am at
Swarm!
Golden Bay
Swarm!
Beehive Tours, and we're just about to do a little tour here, and we hear a swarm going. We're going to take a look. Like I was saying, I'm at Golden Bay Honey and Beehive Tours. He's my good friend David and Cindy Buss. And we just come to the bee yard and there's a swarm collecting in this tree. So it's kind of unfortunate, but so David's given the tour to a nice couple here. And I just thought I'd give you a shot as to what David does. It's a really good presentation. He just finished kind of a little classroom setting to cover a few points and prepare the people for what they're about to see, so that now that when he opens the hive, they'll have a little more context as to what they're seeing. And so he's a very good teacher. And he's sitting over there with a smoker and nothing more. So I'm going to go join him, and we're going to see in a beehive. And I'd love to see the reactions of people who are not familiar with this situation. And I don't know what they're building across the road there, but it's something big. It's Friday, July 14th, 2023. You know, every day it just goes by. Everything's a blur these days. I just brought out the last of the mating nukes that I had in the building, and I counted these mating nukes up, and I have 58 four-frame mating nukes here. And that looks really nice to me, because I have, I believe, 24, I think I have 24 nuke, 6-frame nuke boxes. I think they're over here to fill up. And I'm hoping that these nukes, with what those nuke queens produce and what the zombies produce in the corner, will build 6-frame nukes to winter. That's my goal. These nukes that were made earlier on in May and the first half of June, they're just fine. Most of them, some of them aren't getting it, but that's to be expected. That always happens. But they're producing honey, and you know, if they only produce a bit of honey this year, then that's what they do. And they've paid for themselves. You buy a queen, you know, 40 bucks for a queen or whatever they are, and they make you, you know, they'll make you 2/3 of a deep of honey, and that's it. There's your money right there. You're paid for. So if they winter, that's money in the bank. Because you know, now I got to put money into them for wintering mite treatments and syrup. So I'm out here rather early. I like to get the bees moved out fairly early before a lot of the flight starts. So the apiary is pretty quiet at this point, and it's also a mess. I've been working here and I haven't cleaned up my mess. It's been one of those weeks. One of those weeks where I've gotten a lot done, but I don't know what I did. It's just a blur. So today is also away from home, and gonna do some deliveries and errands and stuff like that. So I needed to get this done this morning. I have queens that may start emerging today, so I need to make sure I check those as well. So if I don't see you again today, thanks for watching. Take care and have fun. A brief update on the wax melter. It looks like it's working great, and I think a guy has to wait until a warm day to clean out the slum, but it's still working. I've thrown some cups in here that had some wax on them, and look at the nice puck that it's made. Look at that. That's really nice. It's doing a really good job.
boy, oh boy. I'm going to leave that in. And I'm just going to throw this stuff in here so it melts while I'm away. That's the greatest thing, you know. You just throw your scrapings and stuff in here, and then you know, come what may, and it'll melt sooner or later.